Wanted to make you aware of a relatively minor change that I made in a system that I put together recently, and the reason I wanted to make you aware of it is because the results for me for the sound went from good or very good to spectacular. So that's why I felt the need to make you aware of this. So I've been, and I hadn't seen this suggestion on any YouTube videos that I've watched. I've watched a lot of videos over the course of the past 2-3 months, researching receivers, amplifiers, and speakers. But anyway, so I ended up buying this HK3770 receiver, brand new on eBay. It's Harman Kardon is no longer making receivers, so I was lucky to find this receiver. I didn't even know it was a stereo receiver. I assumed it was a multi-channel receiver because all the Harman Kardon receivers I had purchased before were multi-channel. But it doesn't matter because I was planning on listening primarily to stereo music, and music in stereo anyway. So that wasn't a big deal. But so what it was, I couldn't afford to buy really good speakers, and by really good, very good, I'm talking about in the $250 range. After I bought this receiver because it was $400, so I had to wait on getting very good speakers. So in the meantime, I bought these $50 speakers on Amazon. It begins with an S, Sayin, or I think it's something like Sayin. You people probably know what I'm talking about. And the system sounded okay with the two Sayin speakers hooked up. And so I made it a goal of mine to purchase the following month because I was going to get another Social Security deposit and would be able to buy a much better speaker. So I ended up, after much research and because of the size of the room, buying the Polk ES10 reference speakers, bookshelf speakers. So that's what I decided on. I paid $250 for the pair. They can be had for less than that, for $200, I believe. But anyway, this is what I did that changed the sound from very good to phenomenal. Now this receiver enables you to connect two sets of stereo speakers. So you can connect, for example, I had my new Polks on set 1, and then this is where the phenomenal difference comes into the picture that I didn't think of even doing until I think a week or two after I got the Polk speakers. I said, wait a minute, I have a second set of speakers I can connect to this receiver because it allows you to connect two sets of speakers. I said, let me see how this is going to sound with the Polk as the main speakers and the sort of the Sayin $50 speakers as the second set. Now, any of you that know anything about 5.1 surround and that kind of thing, that are knowledgeable about that, know that the surround speakers are not as critical to the overall sound. If you have a good set of main speakers, they're going to do most of the work in terms of making the system sound good. The system is still going to sound very good with the somewhat okay surround speakers, but so you have to do what I'm saying. You have to try it out. Try out what I'm telling you to do in order to see. You have to see is believing. So I can tell you about this setup, but you're not going to appreciate it until you set it up for yourself and you see what it sounds like. But so I set this second set of speakers up and put the one speaker of the second set, put it wide to my left. In other words, the two main speakers are pretty. I have them set up at my laptop. They're pretty close together, but not like a desk setup. A little bit further than that, but relatively close together. And then the surround second set, I put wider apart. And this is not a true surround setup, by the way. This is a straight. So if I had, for example, if I had two sets of Sony ES10 speakers, and I had those set up as the two sets of both the same brand and model of speaker, it would sound exactly the same. It's not a true surround, but it acts. It reminds you, when you have this set up the way I have it set up, it's going to remind you very much of a surround setup if you've ever listened to one. But anyway, here's the thing that the whole video is about, that I'm getting to the point that I haven't really made yet. When I hooked up that second set of speakers, and so I had both speakers going, the sound went from being good or very good to phenomenal. So this brought in a whole new dimension. It sounded like, people talk about soundstage. You're going to have soundstage up the wazoo if you do this. So let me reiterate just in case you didn't catch this. So you're hooking up your second set of stereo speakers. So you have 4 speakers total on a receiver that allows you to connect 2 sets of speakers. You have them both on, set 1 and set 2. You have the second set wider apart than the first set, and sort of set up the surround. And then you test that out, and you're going to see that it sounds phenomenal compared to just the 2 speakers. So just my 2 Polk ES10 reference speakers alone, without the surround, without the second set, and then putting on the second set, it's an incredible difference that you're going to see if you try this out. That I haven't seen any video that made this point to try to do what I'm doing. So if you have a very good set of speakers, such as my Polks, or maybe even better than that, and you're still not happy, and you're going to try to fool around with buying more stuff and try to make it, improve it. Before you do that, and this is if you have a receiver that permits you to do it like mine, and enables you to do it, to have 2 sets of speakers. But before fooling around with getting, trying more speakers and see if that sounds better, driving yourself crazy, this is an easy way to make your system going from sounding very good to sounding phenomenal. You will see once you try this that it just sounds absolutely fantastic. Brings in a whole other dimension. The 2 different types of speakers are, you got to remember they're emphasizing different sounds, so it's making different sounds come out in different places, and you have to hear it to believe it. It's just absolutely phenomenal. So give that a try, folks, if you're able to. You will see that what I'm saying is absolutely true. I'm not exaggerating one bit. It's an easy way to go from very good or good sound to phenomenal sound. If you have, I have a Harman Kardon receiver. This is a very well-rated receiver. And I have the Polk ES10, which are very well-rated. And then, as I said, the other 2 $50 speakers that I have as the second set of speakers, that's not as critical in this, but decent. They're not, horrible speakers. You can't go in with horrible speakers on the second set, but decent. And you will see that it's going to sound absolutely phenomenal. So let me know. If you try it, let me know what you think.